Okay, so normally I would have you guys take these from my desk, but since you guys got here early, I am going to have you take this quiz. And it is just going to be on the acceptable use policy that we learned about at the beginning of the school year. And if you have any questions, let me know. And I have a copy here, and you can look at it. Okay. So then, this is about 5 to 10 minutes of the students taking the quiz. The quiz is just on what students should do using their student emails, their student accounts, what they should do if they have a student project, also how to act in the library. Again, this is etiquette, and so this is just judging where they are and how much they know about that. So I will take those in a moment. So, we will look at that a little bit later when we go over how I want your projects to look. But first, I am going to need a couple of answers from you. On the board, I have 2 questions. What do you think makes someone influential, and who influences you? So the first thing I'm going to ask, do you have anybody who influences you? Any famous people that you know of, that you think of when you're trying to make a decision, or how you feel about something? Does anybody have any person they can think of like that?
My aunt influences me because she always makes really good decisions and she's always there to listen.
Okay, so we have family. Now, family, and you said that it's because she makes good decisions?
Mm-hmm.
She has good advice?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure I got what you were saying. So there.
And she listens to me.
Okay. Advice. Listens. Decisions. Anyone else we can think of?
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift. Now, why would Taylor Swift be somebody?
Because she's always herself.
Okay, great answer. So she is so she's always herself. She knows who she is. Okay, so
She's a girl squad. I like that.
Girl Squad. I'm actually gonna put that on the board too. But we're gonna say great group of friends. Surrounds herself well. Maybe companions, things like that, friends. Okay. So we have Taylor Swift. She's a musician. We like her because she's very much herself. She's has a good group of friends. We have family. They give good advice and they listen. Now these are kind of things that are a little bit personal. Does anybody have anyone else? No? What about our president? Does anybody like him when he speaks? People listen. So maybe we think we might want to put Mr. Obama. Now, does anybody know who in class that we've talked about that spoke well?
Martin Luther King Jr.
We're going to talk about Dr. King, so we're going to put him up there. Now, does any of these other attributes go to Mr. King as well, or Dr. King? Sorry. Could you think of anything Mr. King could connect with, could you connect with Dr. King with Taylor Swift? Do you think?
He was definitely always himself. Lots of people didn't agree with him.
Yeah, that's a good one. So in our project about Dr. King and about our biography project that we've been preparing for, that you've been preparing for in Mr. Johnson's class, you've been talking about Dr. King and about finding a person that you might want to talk about. And so first what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how you're going to be presenting that person to us. And then we'll go into how you're going to pick that person. So maybe you want Taylor Swift, maybe you want to pick that. And then we can see whether the method that we're going to use to do our project might, if Taylor Swift would be good for that. Okay, so let me just turn on display. So do you think that these searches, while this is coming up, do you think that if we were trying to find information about how Taylor Swift connected with Dr. King, do you think that these would be things we could put in and we could search for? Do we would want to have more complex, or do you think that these would work? Okay, so we'll think about that and we'll come back to that. So what I'm going to talk to you about now is how you're going to be doing this project. And while we're going through how you create your project, how I want you to design it, I want you to think about maybe what information you're going to want to put there and how you're going to want to connect the traits of that you've been talking about in class with Mr. Johnson about Dr. King, how that's going to connect with the person that you want to do your biography project on. So here, I'm going to tell you how, or we're going to go through and we are going to make a sample Padlet. Padlet is a social media communications tool that we use here at school that is a blog format that's also very visual, so you can put a lot of information on it. So what I'm going to want you to do is you all, on all of your computers, are going to go to the library webpage, and then you're going to go to the Padlet link. And we're going to go. And then you're going to click on Mr. Johnson Block A to get to this link here. If you do not see the picture of Associate Justice Ginsburg, please raise your hand and let me know so that I can go over and double check to make sure you have it. You guys, just so you know, I couldn't get it to allow public view on the thing, so you can't actually go to it on your computers. You can try, but I couldn't get it to work. Okay. So, the first thing you're going to see is that there's a picture and there's words. So keep that in mind, that once you find your book and once you pick your person, try and keep in mind that this is a very multimedia format, so you can use what you like. Now, I noticed when I was going over your quizzes that everyone knew how to log in, knew their email addresses, knew kind of what you're supposed to do, but I did actually have one question. And that was, what should you do if a student asks for the password for your account? What should you do? I did notice that there were a couple people that didn't quite know what they should do. Does anybody have any ideas if another student asks?
You shouldn't share it unless it's your friend.
Unless it's your friend?
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I share everything with my friends.
You really shouldn't be doing that. You should be checking that policy. double check the policy. You shouldn't be sharing your password with anybody, not even teachers, unless it's for school and you can't get in, and then you can ask your the technology officer to get you back into your account.
What happens if I forget?
Well, the technology office can remember your password. You can go and you can ask them to reset your password so then you have it again. Okay. Now, since we're showing a lot of multimedia, can you put multimedia on your school drive? Can you put music on your school drive? Can you put your iTunes on your school drive? No, we can't. So make sure that whatever you're putting on here, if it's a video or if anything like that, you use a link instead of putting the whole thing, because we can't be hosting those files on the hard drive, on the school drive. So, okay, so first thing that we're going to do, and you guys everyone should see this screen, is we are going to click on we are going to just click on, see where that brick is. Make sure you're in there, and then it's a little, and then you're going to see a box there, and you're going to put your name. So I'm going to put my name here, so we know that this is my post. This means when you actually submit the post and I see it, that I will know who sent this post to me. So does everybody have that up? Okay, great. Okay, now you're gonna see all of these little icons down at the bottom. That means that you can do a bunch of different multimedia. You can put a video, you can put an image, but we're gonna talk about those next class when you come in next week to work on the multimedia and also on your citations for this project. So just keep that in mind, that you can do them, but we're not going to talk about those today. We're only talking about text posts. So in just a few minutes, we're going to start working on trying to find our books, but I did want to show you just how to put in any facts that you might want to do. So if you have a fact you want to put in, and I'm going to, as you see here, I'm going to show you the one that I did earlier. As you can see, when you click on it, it opens up a big screen, but when you are editing, you're going to click on the green pen, and you're going to click into it if it's already created. If it's not, you just double click on the screen, and it makes a new. So here we have our fact, and I put a link in there so I remembered where it was. If you find it in a book, just put the title of the book. We'll go back next week when we talk about citations, which I know you've done before, but we're going to go over that again so that you know for sure. Okay. So, does anybody have any questions on Padlet? Yes.
What fact are you talking about?
The facts.
For us.
For us?
Yeah.
Okay. So, in the project that you're going to be doing, which I was just about to mention, but thank you very much for keeping me on track, you are going to be putting some information about the person that you want to do your project on when you find your book. You're going to be putting some information, you're going to be finding some facts about that person. Today, I want you to find at least one fact and put it in your post so that I can see. And if you have a link to it, or if you have the citation or the quote from the book, make sure you put that book title and that information in there. Okay. So, anybody have any more questions? Okay. So now we are going to talk about our books. So when we are going to be using the library, all of the books in the library. I have set up some examples around the room. This is my exemplar, and imagine there are more around the room of of different books, so make sure you take a look. They are in alphabetical order right now, so if you are looking, start over at the by the window and then go over to the door. A's are by the window to Z by the door. Okay? So just so you know when you're looking. Now you're going to go as well, since you're on the computers right now, you can go to the Gale databases and you can, if you'd like, if you don't have anybody, you can't think of anything, you can start with Dr. King. You can start with the keywords that we talked about earlier, and you can and you can think about a keyword, think about what you might want to look at, and think about people that you admire, about historical figures that might exemplify that. And then you can use those keywords to do your searches. And if you have any questions about searches, I'll be walking around, and Mr. Johnson will be walking around too. And so that would be 20 minutes of doing the searching. Does anybody have any questions about that? We're going to be searching until the end of the bell, which is actually right now. We're going to pretend that they did 20 minutes of searching because I just noticed we're running out of time. Okay, so you should have a person, you should have a book. If you do not have a book, please let me know so that we can get you a book before next class, which will be next Tuesday. And then for class, I would like you to have 5 facts about your person that you think show their their similarities between their traits, between the traits of Dr. King and your person. Okay?